And we are live inside CompanyTrader.com studios with Behind the Business, a new podcast we brought up to bring you, well, behind the business and the stories of those that have started businesses and done a lot more in their lives. Joining me on the show today is the one, the only Mr. Marcus Peterson. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks so much for having me. How's everything?
Going all right, man. I'm certainly glad that we were able to make this work out, and appreciate your time coming on the show, man.
Yeah, of course. No problem. Thank you.
So, the founder of MP Motivational Apparel.
Yes, sir. Now, the MP, of course, stands for, it's a personal brand that stands for Marcus Peterson.
Sure. So, well, let's get into. I mean, we can talk about the apparel. In last week, or was it yesterday? A couple days ago, we were in the other studio, Studio D, and I had the Stay Persistent Plan A shirts hung up behind me. So we're in Studio A.
Oh, nice.
We're in
Yeah,
studio.
you got to send me a picture of that.
Yeah, I certainly will, man. We'll have actually I'll probably be back in the studio on Monday, so I'll shoot you the other pictures there, man. But
That's funny.
I mean, obviously, those that don't know, I mean, wide receiver, NFL, Los Angeles Chargers, right? The whole nine there. But tell us more about the MP brand itself and the motivational apparel brand.
Yeah, so behind the brand is basically the struggles I went through and the motivational mantras that ignited my success over the past 2 years. So basically, where it came from, where I wanted to start off with three mantras was at first just a passion project. Um, I want to start e-commerce and just kind of like apparel, a personal brand. So once I signed with the Chargers, there were three mantras that helped me throughout. From graduating to undergrad to signing to the NFL, which was last summer. Of course, it was 100% focused on Plan A, which for me was the NFL. My second mantra is stay persistent because I didn't get drafted or get invited to the NFL Combine. So a lot of people, hundreds of men, get discouraged and they give up. So I wanted to stay persistent in my fight, and I had to literally travel to another country to play and also obtain my MBA, and just staying persistent in my journey and my course. And my third one, there's four actually, and my third one is proving myself right. Prove yourself right. And I used to have a lot of bad negative energy of proving others wrong. So once I switched that energy in the channel to proving myself right, everything organically became better, of course, through the grace of God. And, it was more positivity when I switched it from proving others wrong in a negative sense to proving myself right.
Yeah,
Um,
there's so much as a difference of going, I'll show you, you'll see,
yeah,
compared to turning that around in a more positive, as
in
I'll
a more negative revenge type way.
yeah, definitely a different mindset. So, was the brand and what you were doing prior to signing this summer?
Of course, I did my brainstorming and I've already had it in my arsenal. I believe I started the idea April 2018. And then so I did my research and came up with all the apparel and the finding the distributor, the manufacturer, and just kind of like understanding how it all works. Because I've always purchased clothes, but I never knew the behind the scenes of how to make it and websites and advertisements and social media things of that nature. So once I signed July 31st, August 1st of last year, that's when I launched it because the story would make sense. Because I kept getting this inkling and, I kept praying about it and working hard. I knew that my time was going to come after 2 years of graduating from undergrad. So I just knew that it was going to come. So I sat down with David Metzler and we had a playbook podcast in Irvine, California. And he just told me like, just you have to stay the course. And he believed in my brand and loved it. And that's where it kind of came from. And then boom, when I got signed, I thought business wise, it would make the most sense. So literally the day after I signed, that's when I launched it. And it made perfect sense because it was 100% focused on Plan A, which was NFL. Staying persistent throughout the course, proving myself right, and don't make goals, make history. The don't make goals, make history came about 5 to 6 months later, because out of the two universities that I attended, I'm the first ever to sign the NFL contract, or professional contract at that. So like the goal for everyone is to, make it to the NFL or make it somewhere or do something, but not just make goals. Here, make history, which is like boom up here. So that mantra really stuck with me as articles came out about me. So those are the four mantras that I have now.
So, as these monsters, let's go back before, right? Let's maybe out of high school, maybe even childhood, right? Let's talk about your life a little bit and walk through the life of Marcus Peterson. We kind of have the well, not the end because history is still being made, but we have the present where we are now. What's the story that kind of brings you all the way to this?
Kind of simple, a comfortable living household with my parents, single, only child. God fearing household, God fearing parents here in Inglewood, California. Um, I went to a lot of different elementaries and middle schools, just trying to find myself, and so that's kind of where I made a bulk of my friends. I guess since I'm an only child, I love being the new profile. The new guy that always like excited me. And then I was fortunate enough to find a small Christian high school called Frederick Casey Price, which is in the Los Angeles area, where it was a very small Christian school. I graduated about 25 students, but it was very predominant in basketball. Like you had like seven Division 1 athletes on one team, and several of them are in the NBA now. Were um, so I was always for basketball, so basketball. But of course, at that time and age, everyone was getting taller, and I stood right now at about 5'11", so everyone's getting like 6'6", 6'7", almost 7 foot. So the coach, and so the football team really didn't have a lot of people, so it was an 8-man sport. I didn't start playing about till about 10th grade.
Wow.
So there was about 10 guys on the team, 12. So I really didn't want to play because I just wanted to play basketball. So the basketball coach, everybody looked at him as like superior because it's such a winning team. You want to play for that team. So he said, you should try football because of my physique. So then my best friend, who's still my best friend, he like literally tried to force me to play because he was 2 grades above me. So I was like, I might as well to get conditioned for basketball season because the way it goes, football season comes before basketball season. So I said, okay, well, and then once you start hanging out with someone for a long time, their passions become your passions because you're in that environment. So I just kept playing football, kept playing football, then got like a small scholarship to a school in Kansas. So I went there with two of my teammates, and then they left, and I stayed for about another semester. Then I transferred to the school that my best friend, who forced me to play football, was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I stayed there for about 4 years, and after I think going into my junior year of college, that's when I kind of got serious about it. It was more just kind of the profile, like a professional college player. What the perks that came with it, and just something to do to play football, get out the house. So I started training with these NFL players. I'm like, hey man, you got some skill, keep working, yada yada yada. So then that's when it kind of hit me of maybe I can take this serious. So my junior year after that, um, it just became a huge passion because that's called all I kept thinking about, all I kept wanting. And to be honest with you, the biggest thing of why I wanted it is because everybody kept saying you can't do it or you won't be able to do it. And I don't know. I think I was born with this type of attribute to when someone says, "Nah, you can't go right," then like I have to figure out a way to go right. You know what I mean? So it's like I've always had that breakthrough type of mindset. So I think 80% of why I want to go to the NFL, maybe 90% of why, like 90% of why I want to go to the NFL is because people said you couldn't, or I got doubted, or my college didn't, my college career didn't pan out the way I wanted it to via football. So my biggest revenge of proving myself right was to prove them wrong.
How
So that was literally 90%. Like I liked football, I loved football, but it was more of the "I told you so" type of thing. And once I got over that, I didn't get over that until when I started practicing with the Chargers. That's when I kind of was like, okay, well, I'm matured enough to get over that kind of hurt void, if that makes sense.
Well,
So
sure. Then you're kinda sitting there going, "Well, I'm here. I guess, well, what else am I gonna show you? I'm here, so you have to find some other motivation."
after, yeah, I got there, I started to forgive, because it was like a real big thing for me for about 2 years of how it didn't pan out and the discouragement that I got. So that was the drive of making it because no one else made it, and like literally for me to make it was like winning a lotto type thing. So I just stayed persistent, kept working, I kept networking like crazy, working hard, and then God's favor upon my life just allowed it to happen.
So, was it a walk-on experience, a draft? How'd that work out for you?
No, so what happened? Let me give you a brief synopsis. So 2016 graduated. Had a workout with Cleveland Browns because Robert Griffin at the time, who was their starting quarterback going into the season, I was working out with him in Orange County. He really liked me and my routes, and he said, "Hey, what team do you play for?" And a lot of people said that, but I was only in college or I was a free agent. So that kind of what made me want to make it because like others already thought I was there, but I was trying to get on or just get out of college or make it there. So I worked out for the Browns, and then I spoke to the VP and the head coach, who are not there at the time, obviously, who are not there right now, obviously. But they said, you got a really good talent, but I didn't have the film to back it up. So I needed to go somewhere and get some film. So I said, okay. So I was working at this job that I was going to get fired from. This is closer towards September. So then I got this message on Facebook saying like, "Hey, do you want to come play football here in England?" And I thought it was like a joke or something at first, so I kept ignoring it. And then so he kept hitting me up for about 2 months, and then so now other players from one from Louisiana, one here in North Dakota and LA, and one from Texas, we were all in a group. So it now became serious. So I'm thinking like, well, I might get fired from this job and I have nothing else to do. And the thing was, well, you just can't play football. You have to get your MBA as well. Because I was just going to go to get film because that's what team said I needed. So I was like, okay, well, might as well. And I just when they said that you have to get a postgraduate degree in order to play as well, and I was like, oh wow. And I remember my grandma wanted me to get my master's a long time ago, and I just thought after I graduated from undergrad with um, human resource marketing degree that wasn't it. Like I didn't want to just be in human resources. So basically, after that, I was like, I'm gonna get fired. I've never been to England. I got to get film. I get my MBA at 24 years old. I mean, started at 24. I have no responsibilities, no children, no marriage, no real bills. Why not? And plus,
Take
I I always wanted one more year of college left because it was so fun, and it was over so quickly. So it took a long time dealing with the legal stuff of visas and just a lot of things. So you can go on vacation somewhere, but trying to live in another country that takes that's a headache, like super duper headache. So briefly went over there, got some film, got my MBA. It was very
what was the
different.
team? What team were you playing for over there?
It was called the Derby Braves.
Mhm.
So it was like a city in England called Derby, which is in the middle of England.
Okay.
So I was able to do that and then, travel the world on that side in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Spain, France. So I enjoyed that. And then I came back and I had did so good. I got 15 touchdowns, 71 catches, and 1,004 yards. So that caught wind by the Jacksonville Jaguars because the owner of the Jaguars also owns a soccer team called Liverpool in
Oh,
England.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of how I got connected that way. And after that, a week later, I flew from Florida back to London, then packed back to London. Then I went to have workout with the Chargers. And I was still to this day history album, the first ever to get a workout at the new facilities that they have because they went from San Diego to Los Angeles. So they didn't sign me after that. So I went to go play arena for a month, and then I had the showcase where they showed up and they say, "Well, you look a lot better this year, and you know, you'll be on our list. And if someone gets hurt, then we'll give you a call, whatever." And they went to my dad because it was a game that they went to, and they went up to my dad like, "Hey, are you Marcus's dad?" He was like, "Yes, I am." And then I just was feeling it at that time. I was feeling it. Like I just felt it. Like I was this close. Like, and the crazy part about that is like they signed me 3 weeks after that, but I was going to be a financial advisor because now at this time it's like you've put your all into it, but now reality has kicked in, and now that I got my MBA, a lot of you know corporations in the workforce kind of like liked my resume,
Yeah, the
and
job
they've kind
starts reaching out, and now you're looking at the 6 figures,
of
you're looking at kinda going, "Ah,
yeah.
I don't wanna travel, I'm tired of working out." It always seems to get a lot tougher, like, when you're right there. I mean, when that light's there, it's almost harder to see the light when you're so much closer than ever.
But the thing is, after all that, hearing all the good news and blah blah blah, like literally sacrificing my life. I've sacrificed relationships. I've sacrificed money. I've sacrificed literally my life for this dream, right? But I'm in my early mid 20s. What else am I supposed to do? So um, I felt it, man. I felt how close I was. Like I knew it. And the thing is, I just knew it was going to be the Chargers too. Like I knew it. I knew it. And then so now I'm having all these interviews, and I'm interviewing, some friends, whatever. Because like now with those corporate jobs, it's not just like, hey, you have one interview and then you just work. Now I was like on my sixth in-person interview now. So I'm doing my homework that they give me, and then I'm interviewing someone, my friend, and so I get a call from my agent, and then my agent normally just texts me. Never, like he only calls when it's like something super important.
Oh, it's like the Batman phone's ringing, if the agent's calling, this is good this is good,
Yeah,
not texting.
and it's sick because I was taking a nap and my phone's always on silent. So literally, like God literally woke me up for like a second, and I see it. I look down for some reason. I guess like millennials, every time you wake up, you gotta look at your phone. So I look at my phone, and the phone's ringing, and it's him. So I pick up, I hurry up, pick it up, and he was like, "Hey, they want to sign you, blah blah blah." But I'm thinking towards, no, more towards November. Right now, it's the end of July, so I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe like September, October, whatever. So then 5 minutes later, the GM calls me and saying, "Hey, we like you, we want to sign you, but we want to bring you in tonight."
Whoa. So you busy, anything? You ready to play in the NFL,
I'm
tonight?
ready. He asked me like, "Are you in shape? Are you sure?" Like, he asked me like 3 times, but I've been working out like crazy, like because as you know, your that call can come at any time, so you have to like be ready. And that's the thing what people don't understand about I think basketball too, but like with sports is like you got to be training like you're gonna get that call any day. Like I've been doing that for like years because I've had a friend that kind of got discouraged. Got a
Oh,
friend, sorry, I got a friend that got discouraged, and he wasn't working out for 2 months. Then he got a call from a team, went up there to work out, ran a slow time. He was out of shape, and that was his last shot. And now he's like, you know,
mm.
living with
Ah,
regret.
you gotta live with that. A lot of fighters, MMA fighters are like that. You have to stay in shape. You never know when you get the fight call. And I think so many people stay focused on, the players, that are either in the league for a while or they're, touting off on ESPN every other minute, and they don't realize what that life is of somebody that you're sharing now that, goes from arena ball, goes from Europe ball, is trying to get that phone call, now weighing six-figure jobs back and still having to work out why that's going. I mean, that middle life before you get signed, as you're trying to get signed, that is so much tougher than so many people really understand.
Literally turning down, like you said, 6 figures because I knew the bigger picture. Because my biggest thing is, Adam, is like I look at life backwards, and a good friend of mine, Gary Vee, who explains that, but I had that mindset before I knew who he was. Of living backwards, like you go from 21, 22, 23, blah blah blah. But I live 80 down, so like I see myself when I make decisions. If I'm laying, in a hospital bed, when I was 45, did that decision I made benefit me. You know what I'm saying? So like when I look back at when I'm 40 and I look back at my 20s, I'm gonna be like, I want to be like, man, I wish I would have done that rather than dang, I wish I didn't. You know.
Oh,
And my biggest thing is not living with regret. So the decisions I've made so far when it comes to my career, I wouldn't say I have any regret. Even casting away, relationships with uh, good women, but you know, those are decisions I had to make to sacrifice for where I am and where I'm going to continue to go today.
that's a good point, man, that you bring up with relationships, because so many people either have a dream or a business they want to start, but perhaps they're in love, maybe, or they're kind of settled in this comfortable place, and maybe they got to go somewhere else or spend too much time, and they're worried about losing that. A lot of people, relationships hold them back, I think, from well, staying persistent.
I'm glad I have that mindset. I don't know if it's because I was born and raised in the inner city of Los Angeles, but I don't know. But I'm just glad that I have that mindset of focusing on plan A and knowing myself because I know like money, opportunity, girls, stuff they come and go, but time does not. So I'm okay with sacrificing and being. And another thing is I'm only child too, so I've kind of been said to be selfish in many instances. But like I said, I look at things like, will this matter in 5 years? So people I've dealt with, they understand why I had to make those decisions.
Well,
So there's no bad blood.
yeah, so often selfish though is looked at this bad term, this negative context, right? When it's our lives, it's your life. I mean, you're pretty much going out on a plate by yourself. You came in by yourself, and people kind of throw that around a lot. Oh, you're selfish. Other than, well, no, maybe I'm just focused.
Yeah. And the biggest thing too is like I've had like these ticky tack jobs, um, and I will see a lot of people like kind of in their 50s or 40s or late 30s who are particularly stuck in their situations, meaning due to responsibilities, kids, or lack of opportunity, lack of education, lack of whatever, and they complain a lot. And I would just sit back and just listen, and I just like that can't be me. That what turns me on the most when it comes to working hard. It's like I have this youthful time. First I don't play video games. Nothing against video games or binge watching, but I'm a huge believer in time management because when I was getting my MBA, like I had to set my alarm of the time amount of time I was taking showers, the amount of time I was eating, the amount of time I was sleeping, the amount of time I was doing homework because it was so rigorous because I was doing full time football, doing a level 7 CMI master's program in another educational system because that was a whole other thing. It's like it wasn't a master's program, American master's program. It was a UK's program. So their educational system is totally different from the American. So I had to learn and relearn and adjust. It was definitely what I needed, but it was literally the hardest and best year of my life.
How often, are people really going through that, whether it's business or some idea they want to start, where, that obstacle, I guess I'm going to quote Ryan Holiday here in the Stoicism, the obstacle is the way. The tougher it gets, that's going to be what makes you the person you are as you come through that trial or tribulation.
Yeah, and that's why I said looking back is on once I signed, I was in practice and stuff, and I was more forgiving, is because those hardships, those knockdowns, those rejections, they've built me for who I am today and what I will go through in the future. If I didn't go through that and something drastic came to me in the future, I wouldn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I wonder how
So
much of that then turns to a thank you later, right? We'll show you, and turns to, all right, I'll forgive you. To now you're super successful, right? All pro. Who knows what the future holds for you? You turn around and going, you know what? I don't just forgive you, but thank you for what you did.
yeah, and that's something you just have to accept and thank God for, and just be kind to yourself first
Mm.
and then to others.
Yeah, what might you say to somebody that may be in that situation, right? And it may not be where they have to go overseas and play ball, right? And we're looking at the dream being the NFL here, right? If they're facing arena ball, and this could be on any level, whatever their dream is, they're in that middle ground of maybe almost making, or maybe feel like they're not even close still, right? What would be some of that piece of advice to somebody that's sitting there from you?
To be very authentic, I think my situation is a little different because, like I said, I was blessed enough not to have any children, marriage, super responsibilities, or staggering bills, and having a great support system when it comes to family and friends. So my situation may be different from someone who has a child or who has a different type of environment. So I can't truly say don't make excuses, blah blah. Not saying anything was easy or hard, because it was definitely hard, still is. But I would say knowing your why. That's number one. Knowing why you're doing it, not just to do it. Like, if it's just for the money, then nah, it's not gonna work. If it's for positioning yourself, or like, what are you doing? Like, let's say for instance, it's someone who's a musician. Doesn't have to be football, musician, or going to school. Like, what is it that you're doing it for? Knowing yourself first, understanding your mindset, who you are, loving yourself. Everything internal first, then external. So once you master, not master, but comprehend the internal first, of what it is, that who you are, what your purpose is in life, why you want to be doing something, and self love, self care, and casting out all negative energy and negative naysayers. That's first. And then you can allude to and evolve to why it is you want to be a musician, or why it is you want to be that lawyer, or why it is you want to finish school, even if you have children, or getting out of a city that you've been dying to get out of your whole life. So just understanding why, and then just taking action. A lot of people watch, like, I used to be like this too. I used to watch a bunch of motivational videos, and that would kind of pump me up. But then, like, none of that works if you don't take action and execute. So once I started executing, it's like you just sink or swim.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people too, they can get pumped up, get the motivation going, right, but, motivation doesn't last. It's moving on that motivation. But speaking about the why, um, why people choose to do something, trying to get there, I think so many people overlook that in their life as they go, "Well, I gotta pay a bill, or it'd be great to make a $500,000," or, they kind of foresee this other picture as opposed to, "Wait a minute, why am I really doing this?" Because you'll see a lot of people where they do make it to some level of financial place or whatever, and then they kinda look around and go, "Man, I'm not happy. I got the stuff, I got the income, I did it, but what's missing here?"
Exactly. And it's always going to be something. Either I don't have enough, or I have enough and something's missing. So that's why I said the internal comes first, and understanding what your why is. Like, for instance, like, my example of financial freedom and success was, growing up in the inner city, you kind of just seem like certain people with, the nice cars, just people on TV. And then so I had a girlfriend years back that was, her family was very well off and wealthy. And being in that environment, and being able for it to be tangible, it was different. And it was a season, definitely, because it didn't last long. But I always believe that God brought her in my life to show me that things were obtainable. And if you work hard and succeed, you're able to, have that lifestyle too. And I'm forever grateful for her in that season. So after that, that's when I started reading, and my mindset changed. So I got a mindset switch. So once people have that mindset switch and that click or that trigger, then their potential and destiny of life can be unlimited.
Yeah, so many people, I watched you on, Facebook, I see the pictures pop up from so many people ordering your shirts and things like that. Is there a story that maybe in turn that you've got from, I'd say followers of your brand, or purchasers of that, or people that you've run into along the way, as the motivational apparel, the MP Motivational Apparel, grows? Is there a story amongst those people that maybe sticks out to you, or maybe a picture someone sent you to say, hey, this really helped me, this pushed me, here's where I'm at? Is there something that sticks out to you?
Yeah, so basically, when I started the brand, the target market was for high school students or college students that went through the same turmoil that I went through. And once I launched it, it quickly changed to people universal and globally of, so it went from ages 15 to 25, which was the demographic, to people 21 to 55. And that's what the customers were alluding to, because and then it wasn't athletes. Like, I think 95% of my 98 98 of my consumers are not athletes. They are, workers, regular workers, 9 to 5, um, both men and women. So I had to adjust because the message not only just sticks out, like, say, for instance, a lot of parents get their children shirts because they go through something, and let's say they want to give up because, they think it's a phase, whatever, but staying persistent. Or a single mother who wants to finish school because no one else in her family has graduated from high school or has graduated from college. So that's her plan A, or his plan A is to graduate, and be that number one. So those stories stick out the most. And what sticks out to me the most is I did develop an international network because I lived over there, but literally getting message hundreds of a day from via LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram of, hey, I don't know who you are, but your story, I've heard your story, and it has inspired me to do such and such and such. And so to read that, I understand that my journey to get to the NFL wasn't just for me. It was a bigger picture to admire, motivate, and inspire people worldwide. So once that started to reign, and it became bigger than just me trying to, get on the NFL team. So I understood what God was trying to do in those 2 years. So that was probably the story that took out the most, is why I went through that. I was starting to get the answers of why I was going through that journey.
Starting to find the why that becomes outside of yourself when you start to see people that appreciate the story, and then we'll kind of jump in with that. I mean, I think a lot of people look to identify with people's stories, like you said, not just in sports in that angle. They were able to apply your story and say, yeah, no, nobody really thought I'd make it. Maybe I always wanted to do this, and then I kind of fell into this, then I fell in love with this, got told no over and over again, and back and forth with two different options there, and what do you face and choose? I can almost relate, to a lot of people that kind of sitting there going, all right, here's the business I want to start, here's where I'm at or where I want to go, but this is so much safer. This is the career that's waiting on me. This is maybe why I went to school. This was the plan, but I got this why, man. I got this why on the inside of me that wants to go left, and if I don't, I may regret that. And that's kind of what a lot of your story is pointing out here.
Yeah, I'm more afraid of not taking the chance than losing it all. Like you said, a lot of people have that safety net of, like, I can't risk it because it's not safe, it's not guaranteed. But I'm more scared of not taking the risk than I would to be losing it all. So those are two different personalities. If you have that personality of being scared, more scared of not taking the risk than losing it all, then you'll definitely go far in life.
Well, I'll take it because that is where I switched to fear that I had, man. I mean, I used to live recklessly fearless, which made me kind of a bad guy. But then trying to take that fear with a different perception and saying, I fear not trying, I fear not experiencing, I fear not being kind. and which is certainly a mindset I have is, short term and long term pain. I'd rather go all in, lose everything, but at least I gave it a shot in short term pain than wind up 20 years down the road going, what if I just would have went over to England and played ball, right? What if I
And
just would?
that Adam would have killed me like that. I man, it's like that would have stuck with me so much. And I'm a big believer in if you touch the stove. I mean, if you touch the stove and you get burned, I'm not gonna touch the stove. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big believer in learning from others first. So when I see people in the same situations or earlier situations tell me that, hey, don't play it safe, or I wish I would have done this, or man, when I was young, I wish I, like, that scares me the most. Like, hearing those stories, it's like, oh, no, well, I got to take this time and go crazy because I don't want to have those stories,
Yeah.
you know?
You don't wanna be the person sitting around at 50, 60, going, "Well, I played great in college and, never really gave it a shot after that," you know? Oh, god, yeah, that's painful. So often we don't learn from those that go before us. We tend to just try to read into ourselves about what it is, and, I too try to look forward and say, "Man, look at that person. Do I wanna be that?" I used to say when I was younger, if I ever got a job, look at your boss. If you don't want to be them, quit immediately.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, man. So, what's the future hold for you on the field, and what's the future hold for you with the MP brand?
Well, first, on the field, just working out, training, um, staying ready, doing the best that I can do. It's summertime now, so more of the vacation side, training, and then seeing what these next couple of weeks have in store. Because football is very ever changing. Sports, business, sport, anything in life. So staying optimistic and ready. As far as the MP brand, it's touched so many people of influencers, entrepreneurs, people globally. So I came out with three different merchandises of shirts and hoodies. So that's going good. The MP brand is going good. I've had a lot of write ups with the Chicago Tribute, um, Voyage LA, Voyage, Phoenix, two contributors from Forbes, an article from MSNBC that will be launching in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and a bunch of podcasts and university guest speaking. So a lot of stuff is coming great off the field as well as modeling and things of that nature. So just staying above and of course while I have the time, in this off season in the summer. So I don't have to so I can position myself when I have the time now. So when it's time to focus on football, I can be 100% focused.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's smart on two sides for you, man. Setting up on both sides. Michael Coe and Seneca McMillan, both who run the Central Florida alumni chapter down here in Central Florida. They try to help a lot of the newly signs or getting to the NFL, trying to say, hey, start planning your business too, or what you're going to do, out of football too, while staying focused on that, man. Because like you said, it's a business, and life can end up being a business too. So for someone at your age to already have a business going that's global, getting the notoriety it's getting while also walking on to the Los Angeles Chargers field, man, is man, one heck of a feat to accomplish on both sides, and a smart way to plan it.
Yes. So definitely using the time and the luxury and the platform as long as I can.
Yeah, why not? Anything to add? Let everybody know where they can find your gear, man. Where they can look you up. Maybe send you a picture, like our CEO Sal Esposito's done a few times, man. Where they can reach out to you, where they can order your stuff and find you.
Yes, sir. So my Instagram is Marcus T. Peterson. So that's MarcusTpeterson. And then my website is www.mpmotivationalapparel.com. That's where you can find my brand, my story, my clothing, and everything that I have going, past, present, and future.
Wonderful, man.
And
Last,
also Facebook and LinkedIn as well.
okay, Facebook and LinkedIn under the same names there, right?
Yes, Marcus Peterson.
Yeah, you all can't miss a big gold MP when it pulls up. You'll see the logo there when you look it up. Last question, man. Why wear the number that you wear? And what's the story behind some of those? Well, the number, if you have the choice to pick yours, or the number that you have worn most of your life.
No, so I've had a bunch of different numbers. It was just given to me. Um, so I just go with the punches. Any type of number. It's not really. I've learned that it's not really the number. It's the person in the jersey. So it was just a number that was just given. Like, hey, you're gonna wear this number. Okay, perfect.
I'll take it. Well, for a lot of people out there too, no matter what your age is, right? If you think you're too old to start a business or too young, it's just a number. Roll with the punches, and it doesn't matter, right?
As long as you're
Nope. Looks like you blanked out there for a minute. What was that? As long as what? Nope.
opportunity.
There you go. Now you're coming back in there. Figures right at the end there, we start to break up with a little reception. But I think you were just letting somebody know on top of it. As long as you're something, I feel like I'm waiting on the edge. As long as you're what? What did he say?
As long as you're alive, you have the opportunity.
Woo! Is that the next T-shirt we expect to be seeing? We'll be ordering.
Probably or probably not. We just have to stay tuned.
Oh, come on, man. What's the next line? What's the next slogan that's coming out on the T-shirts, man?
That will all be notified on www.mpmotivationalapparel.com.
There you go, Marcus, man. I appreciate you giving me the time, man, and hanging out here at with companytrader.com and sharing well, behind the business and your life here. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks so much, Company Trader. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Adam.
See you, buddy.
Bye bye.
Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed talking with Marcus Peterson there. Got a busy life going on when you're training, as our CRO could tell you about, Demetrius Davis, who did his time in the NFL and for FSU. When it's training time, there is no real off season basically when you are walking onto that field. So coming off the field, off training, off camp practices and things like that, I'm telling you, it'll wear you out. I did a little college ball myself, and that wore me out. But any time that we could get from Marcus, sorry everybody, we couldn't get it going yesterday. The man's time is demanded from many places. But we at companytrader.com certainly ordered a lot of his shirts from MP Motivation Apparel by Marcus Peterson. Stay persistent, 100% plan A. Are some of the shirts that, well, you'll see us rocking. I know Sal Esposito rocks them constantly, our CEO. He's got a lot of pictures of those hanging up. But I appreciate everybody joining us for Behind the Business. Look for a lot more guests to come on the companytrader.com show, Behind the Business. Soon this will be a podcast pushed to iTunes, Stitcher, and everywhere else. Well, you can go now to companytrader.com and, well, read about what we do. If you have a business that you'd like to sell, or maybe a business you'd like to buy, a lot of people don't really understand that you can just buy a business. You don't necessarily have to start one from scratch. And a lot of people may not see themselves as a business owner. And that's one angle that at companytrader.com we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage people, to be the man or woman and not work for the man or woman, and find your freedom that way. And you'll be surprised the businesses you may match with or may find on our website as well too. Got a huge launch, a revamp of the website is going on right now. We're about a little less than 30 days from relaunching with some new functions that we're really excited about. So a lot of big things going down behind the business at companytrader.com. Appreciate everybody joining me today, or if you're watching it at a later date. Thank you, and hope you're taking care of yourself out there, building your business, staying focused on 100% plan A, and as Marcus Peterson would say, stay persistent. Tune in with me next week. Companytrader.com live. Who knows what studio I'll be in next time? We're in Studio A now. We got the Studio D, the How You Doing studio, as Sal described it, in downtown Orlando. Studio B and C are in our our secondary office, our expansion down to Hardy County, where we were down there. That's Studios C and, B and C down there. So 4 studios up and rocking for companytrader.com. Expect to see a lot more from us. And if you are a business owner out there and you would like to be on Behind the Business podcast with myself to share your story, to take people behind your business and let them know, what all went into your business, the history behind it, and who is captaining the ship of your business. Feel free to send us an email. You can shoot me an email at adam@companytrader.com. Be happy to speak with you and, schedule a time to have you on the show. Again, thank you for joining us here, companytrader.com, Behind the Business. See you.